Welcome to the Myrtle Beach Premier League, brought to you by Tungsten TV. I'm Richard Barrington-Hill.
And I'm Bud Grazioli.
This week's game is sponsored by dartbrokers.com. For all your darting supply needs, the bull stops here.
And also the Island Bar and Grill of Surfside Beach, the official after-party of the Myrtle Beach Premier League. This week's match is between Rick, SDR Madden, and Joe, or Gio, Giordano.
Yeah, Rick Madden is known as SDR, but that's something I'm petitioning to change. This man should be known as the Ton Machine.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about that. Rick is a ton-hitting beast. I think there's part cyborg in his right arm. When he throws at the triple 20, he really knows how to hit him.
Yeah, if we look at his previous seasons, in the first season, he hit 153, I believe, which was the most of anyone in any league.
And in season 2, he had 130 of them. Just by comparison, Gio, in his first season, which was season 2, had only 108. Rick was first and Gio was second. So this match promises a lot of high scores and a lot of tons between the two of them.
Well, so far this season, and bearing in mind Rick is one game behind Gio, he's got a game in hand. Rick's hit 64, which averages as 16 tons a match, which is a hell of an average.
And Gio's got 77, again with the extra game. Still averages 15.4 per match. Phenomenal numbers.
This should be a high-scoring game. How are they sitting this season?
Well, let's see. Right now, Rick is currently in 5th place, but he's only 3 points out of the lead. This Premier League, this group is very tight at the top, and every game and every point, as we get closer to the end of the season, is going to matter that much more.
And he's got the game in hand.
And he does have the game in hand, so in a way, he almost controls his own destiny.
And Gio is second, but only on leg difference. We saw his game last week against Tom B, who's sitting at first, and Tom B has a 3-leg advantage over him.
That's exactly right. So this game is important both to Rick and his positioning and also to Gio. He kind of let last week's match with Tom get away from him a little bit. I'm real interested to see how well he rebounds from that game.
Well, last season, Gio won this fixture 9-6. And the interesting thing is Gio hit 23 tons in that game and Rick only hit 12.
Well, this is certainly going to be a revenge match for Rick then to see how well he can rebound from that. Has he got revenge on his mind? Is he going to be able to hit the tons? Or is Gio going to rebound from that tie last week against Tom? Well, either way you look at it, it's going to be a great match.
Gio might have those legs in mind that he needs to catch Tom.
He might. He needs to win big if he wants to catch Tom, though, that's for sure.
Shall we get into it?
Let's go.
Okay, you're joining us in the first leg. Just like last week, we're going to give you the full game this week. And the Ton Machine starts
with a ton.
There's a shock.
And stand corrected, it actually was a ton 40, so I guess I believe that counts. I think Rick would count it.
Yeah, even better. And Gio responds with 60.
Well, this is the first game of the night, and allow for a few minutes for both of them to warm up. But Rick doesn't look like he needs a few minutes to warm up with the ton 40 right out of the gate. Let's see what he answers it with.
He looks very focused, very, very focused.
There's a strange bloke back in the back, kind of talking, kind of watching at the same time.
Well, this game's going to have a lot of interest from a lot of players. I mean, last season it was a cracking game, and we're hoping for the same this season. And Gio gets his...
and Gio gets his ton, his first one of the game. I expect there's going to be a lot of ink on that paper when they're done.
And gave us the finger, but in a nice way. He gave us the nice finger. And looks like Rick's about to reply with something big of his own. That's an unlucky dart.
He went right back at it with the third dart. But yeah, I mean, he's not going to be unhappy. He's right there, right out of the gate. He's on the number, and he's not going to be disappointed with any of his shots so far. And Gio answers with another ton. Pretty much evens this game back up, plus a couple of points.
I think they've already outdone me for the whole season in this opening leg.
Yeah, my last game I'd still be on 450.
Now, I've watched Rick a few times, and I have noticed, unlike a traditional stacker, where you throw under the triple and build over the top, he throws his first dart dead centre in that 20 and brings it down.
Yeah, and it's odd because the way his darts go onto the board, they tend to want to stack, and he throws high and works his way down, which seems counterintuitive, but given the number of tons he hits, it's hard to argue with the results.
Speaking of, Gio just hit another. I think Gio wants to try and double those tons like he did last season, but he's going to have to do well to do that.
Now, Rick hit a triple 20 with his first dart. It left him a 117. He went right down to the 19 to try and even it up and fix it, and then back up to the 20 again, which was actually a good shot and a smart shot. He set himself up with a 78.
Gio's got a 140 now, and a 135 now. He's not going to be happy with that. He's giving Rick a hell of a chance to take this leg.
Very uncharacteristic shot of Gio. I haven't even seen the third dart yet, and I can already tell you it's not pretty, and it wasn't pretty. He had just a 7, and that's giving Rick a huge opportunity to win this first leg right out of the gate. Gio looked like he might have a chance to steal it with all the tons he hit, but that shot really just gave it right back to Rick. And Rick might be throwing at the triple 18, I would expect. And he did, so he's got 60 left.
Nice, easy, 20 tops.
There's the 20. Can he get the top? And looks like he might have slipped. Dart might have gotten loose in his fingertips, but he's going to go back at it.
Good call, composing yourself and not just throwing. That does look good, and it was.
It was hard to tell because our view was blocked by the 18, but it was a double. It was a double 20. That was a beautiful shot.
We had a small earthquake as we fixed the camera to adjust for Gio's lean. And maybe Gio lost that game because he didn't have a cigarette in his mouth.
Well, he stepped so far to the right, he went completely off camera. And it didn't really help him all that much. He hit just a 60. Now Rick's going to come up for his first shot of this leg, and let's see what he can do with it.
There's that first start, like I said, high, and then he normally brings it down and finds that triple.
Just like that. But it wasn't a triple. That third dart was just below the wire. It was a solid 60.
It looked good, though. It did look good.
And Gio's going back in with another 60. They've already hit more 60s in this game than I hit all last week.
Well, it's odd to see Gio hitting 60s, to be honest with you.
It's odd to see either one of them hitting 60s.
I mean, I didn't keep track last game, but there was a lot of big scores.
And very few 60s. And Rick's third dart just above the wire, so it looks like he's going to be a 43. He probably wishes it was 60 at this point.
And this gives Gio a good chance to, you know, get some steam under his shoes. I'm not even sure that's a saying, but let's say it is.
It is now.
Yeah. Get some steam under your shoes, lad.
And again, just another 60. So if he's got steam under his shoes, it's not working. He should try a different saying.
Maybe one that is actually a saying. that might help. And yeah, that accuracy of that first dart seems to have left Rick this leg.
Yeah, but that second dart was spot on, and the third dart's right there with him.
It is nice when you have a bit of an off.
Oh, look, Gio's got his cigarette now. His balance is back on. And look at there, triple 20 right out of the gate.
He should just glue it to his lips. Don't smoke it.
And a ton.
Just keep it there forever. But it is nice when your opponent so when you go off, if your opponent goes off too. Because it can be painful when you're hitting 26s and 60s and they're throwing tons.
Well, that's exactly right. And we're seeing that firsthand right now. Gio hit a ton. Gio and his cigarette hit a ton, and unfortunately Rick could only respond with a 26. That gives Gio a huge opportunity. A good shot here sets him up on a good out.
I've just noticed how close his arm comes to that lit cigarette. I want to see him burn himself.
Maybe he did on that third dart. He hit a 5. Maybe he burned himself on that and we didn't realize it. That's unfortunate for Gio because, one, it doesn't set himself up on an out. Rick's in a position now with just a ton to really get right back into this leg. If Rick hits something bigger, he could put himself in a much better position having first shot at the double. But let's see what he does. Yeah, 5's not going to do it.
I think Rick, all he needs to do is get his eye back in for this leg and get ready for the next leg because he's not been there.
We recovered nicely on that third dart after the 5, a skinny 5 at that. He got the third dart into the triple. But Gio's...
He can't throw it.
He thought about it. He thought about it for a minute. Take a step back, Gio. Take a deep breath and throw the 14. And he threw down at the 8. Yeah.
It's so horrible when you get your first two in the triple 20 and you've got less than a 180.
Yeah, he was throwing at the 16. I thought 14 because I can't do math today. But he did leave himself at 48. Rick's going to have to hit a big score just to keep Gio honest.
And there's the stacking action. The last dart got away from him, but the classic Phil Taylor style stack.
And Gio's going to be 16 double 16, and there it is, 2 darts, 2 pretty darts to get this leg. And they've traded legs, each one holding their own. And Rick's going to step up to the line now with a throw, and let's see what he can do.
Well, we know from experience, Gio holds his throw. Breaking Gio takes something special. Tom B did him a few times, but it's not something we see frequently.
To be fair, though, Tom also stole the break back. And there's Rick with a 121. He had a shot at that 180. That third dart just a little bit high and then deflected out into the 1. You know, Tom was able to break Gio, but you know, to be fair, Gio broke back very nicely, hence the tie. And Gio answered that 121 with just a 40. That's not going to sit well with him.
No, so it's advantage Rick in this leg.
So far, well, he did have the throw, so I mean, right out of the gate he had the advantage, and then he put a big score on the board.
Step 1 in leg-based darts is hold your throw, and step 2 is get a break. So if you do nothing but hold your throw, you know, you're getting a point at least.
Well, step 1 so far looks good for Rick. Let's see if Gio can get something going. We apologize, there's some technical difficulties with the cameras, but we've got that resolved. You might see a little bit of herky-jerkiness from the screen, but we're going to blame the players and not blame the hardware.
Can I point out that Gio's removed the cigarette and he's throwing horrible?
You absolutely pointed out. Maybe he should listen and put the cigarette back.
If he doesn't come back this leg with it in his mouth, I'd be very surprised. And that was a stray third dart.
And sometimes can't help but to wonder if Rick doesn't throw his third dart just for the fat, just for the even ton, and just loses a little bit of concentration and it gets away from him. And Gio's definitely not got the cigarette in his mouth, and it definitely showed by that score.
Well, Rick's got time now. Another tunnel put him in a really good position.
Oh, absolutely. Anything that gets him close to an out is going to be huge, with Gio sitting on almost 400.
And the ton machine does what he does best.
He hit another ton.
That's what he did. And yeah, and Gio's well away.
Gio hits a ton 80 and he's still 50 back, so that's pretty deep hole. And he was 120 short of that 180, and Rick's gonna have a good look at an out. He's on an out now, and you know the way he hits triples, he might set himself up nicely. But even if he doesn't hit it, he's got a good position to get down there and have have several darts at a double.
And the best thing is there's no pressure. He can take his time. He can pick his double from here.
Absolutely. Hopefully he picks the right double. And he threw the third dart at the bullseye and hit a double. He's not going to be unhappy with the 85 points he got, in a very unconventional way of getting it. But he set himself up on a nice out. 65 is definitely doable. And all Gio can do at this point is just hit lots of points and hope he gets a break.
And a ton's a good start to lots of points.
Well, definitely is lots of points, but he needs Rick to miss. And with 65, I expect Rick might throw it to bullseye. He did, and it looks like it's just outside, and Rick walked up to make sure, and it is.
So that's a 7, is it?
I believe it is. I can't quite tell from here. If he throws it the 18, we'll know.
Yeah. 18 tops is the logical route.
Assuming that's a 7. And there's the 18, so I'm going to assume it's a 7. And again, his flight blocked the double 20, so we can't quite see it, and it's not in there. It is just over the wire. But he's going to have plenty of time to take that 40 out. There was no rush for him. Gio's going to have to hit a big score just to put the pressure on Rick. And Gio hit a 105, sets himself up on a nice even out.
It's still a big out.
It's still a big out, make no mistake about that.
So I doubt that Rick's going to be too concerned. He can just take his time and build. Oh, double 10. Needs to go just inside that.
Oh, he's just outside the wire on that third dart, and he's going to give Gio a shot at that 130. It's a long one, Nice thing about 130 is you can miss into the fat 20 and still have a shot. And unfortunately, you can't miss the second time. And he went back to the 18, set himself up with a 72, but Rick's going to have 3 darts at a double 10, and I'd be shocked if Rick missed this.
Sometimes your opponent not being right there to put the pressure on you can make you a bit lax.
And it looks like that's exactly what happened. Gio got very close with a couple of good shots right there at the end, and I think Rick might have relaxed a little bit too much, and then when he saw Gio sitting on a 72, he said, it's go time.
And that's a way to start a leg.
125 is a very good shot from Gio, and it'd be interesting to see how Rick responds.
This is why breaking Gio is so damn difficult to do. I mean, as we saw against Tom, he hits a ton to start most legs.
A ton or a ton 25 is definitely going to put you in the catbird seat. And 81 response is not terrible, but it's all up to Gio. How much pressure can he put on Rick with his second and third shot? And the one thing I'm noticing from Gio tonight is he's definitely hitting a lot of 5s and 1s, a lot more than usual, and not nearly as many triples as we're used to seeing from him.
He's throwing similar to how Tom threw against him. A lot of stray darts with a lot of big scores in between.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Rick isn't doing himself any favors. Gio's giving him an opportunity, and Rick's just giving it right back. That was a good chance for Rick to put himself in position to steal this leg, and he couldn't do it. And now Gio's going to go up there with a 100, and basically he's going to take control of this leg back.
Whoever's scoring, marking the score sheets needs to get a new pen because that's running out of ink.
It's got to be. It's got to be. He's probably worn a hole in the paper from all the tons they've marked on it.
It's a great second dart.
Not a shabby third dart either in 125.
And he's keeping pace.
And he is. It put him right back in. Put him right back in this game. He really needed that big shot. Now he just needs to hope Gio misses, and
Gio doesn't.
Yeah, you and I know how the Gio machine works, and he doesn't miss often. And that 140 makes that 125 look a little pale.
Yeah, Rick needs something big here. A ton is the absolute minimum, and he's not going to get that.
Well, an 81 is not terrible. Unfortunately, it doesn't leave himself an out. A 169, he's not going to be able to take that. So, kind of like the last game, only backwards now. Gio's sitting on an out, and Rick really needs Gio to miss at least twice in order to give himself a shot.
Well, he's left himself 21 by my math. 41, sorry.
I was going to say.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, 21, 41, just a couple of points off. But he fixed it, and he's got a 32 left, and he's going to get at least 3 darts at it, because Rick's not going to take a 169 out.
Well, the route he was going was triple 17 tops, and he was quite away from the triple, and then he hit the triple he didn't want.
Yeah, he went to the 57 first, hit a single left 74. He threw it to triple 14 to leave 32, and he was just below the wire and hit the triple 11. So he did need the 9 to fix it. But now here he is throwing at the 32. Oh wow, bad luck on that second dart that deflected just outside the wire.
And the fact that he's gone all the way over there means it was very badly covered.
Yes, it was. And his third dart just inside into the fat 16. Rick's going to have a shot at a 109 now. Let's see if he can do something with it.
This would be a stomach a stomach blow, wouldn't it?
It would be a huge blow to Gio if Rick pulled this out. He's got 90 left. He's going to be throwing at the 18, I expect. And he threw it at double 20. I don't understand that at all, but double bowls the game, and he hit another double 20. And judging by Rick's reaction, I think he thought that he had 80 left.
Oh.
And right now the scorekeeper is advising him that he in fact has 10 left. He hit that 19 to leave 90.
That was a beautiful way of taking out 80, and
it's exactly how you would have called it. And Gio makes him pay for the math skills. Gio takes the double 8 out.
Yeah, and you can see he's shaking his head in the background. He can't believe he's done it.
Yeah, when he hit the double 20, I thought maybe he was trying some of that unique new strategy. He still had the dart. He could have hit a double bowl for the game, but he went right back at that double 20, and immediately you recognize that he just counted wrong. And
I thought that was his plastic mentality coming out. Leave 50,
leave
50.
That's unfortunate. And I know Rick's going to be kicking himself for a long time over that, because it's not fair to say that it necessarily cost him the game, but it certainly cost him a chance at the game.
I think one of the important things is he's taken it well. He didn't turn around and beat himself up. He's not kicking and punching the air. He went back and he shook his head and he laughed it off. And that's important in what may turn out to be a long game.
And more importantly, he stepped up to the line. He put that shot out of his mind. He stepped up to the line and he threw another ton. That's probably one of the most difficult things to do in the game of darts, is to put your last shot out of your mind. One of the things that you see out of these guys in the Premier League, you've seen it from Gio a few times. He hits a 7 or he hits a 9 or a 12 or some woeful score, and then the very next time up to the line he hits a 140. You know, that's the skill that these guys have mastered more than anybody else, is their ability to recover from a bad shot and to forget about the previous shot.
Yeah, a lot of players that I've seen, that I've known, that I've played with, will beat themselves up over missed doubles. So much so they beat themselves up until you're halfway through the next leg.
That's exactly right. There are some players who are so mad about their last shot that they don't concentrate on their current shot or their next shot. You know, and you know, it costs them. It costs them a lot, because you know, you've got to learn to put that shot behind you. There's no doubt. You can't dwell on the past. You can't change the past. And you know, if you do dwell on, you know, the previous shot, all it's going to do is hurt you, you know, in the long run.
The second that ink is dry on that W or L, forget about it.
That's exactly right.
And yeah, Gio's finding himself slipping behind again this leg. He's having massive trouble trying to break Rick. He's not even coming close to breaking Rick.
No, you've seen two very surprising shots from Gio, and the scores have definitely been uncharacteristically low. You know, and Rick, you know, he's a machine. He just walks up there and again, that's not a ton, it's a 60, but I mean, he's right on it. You can see every one of his darts is right on the wire.
And he's coming closer to breaking Gio than Gio's coming to breaking him, and that, I imagine Gio's going to step up and find an extra gear, as he so often does.
Well, he's certainly going to have to, because Rick continues this pattern and Rick continues this trend. Gio might find himself with his hands full, because I don't think you can turn your back on Rick Madden right now. I think he's really starting to find his footing in this league, in the Premier League, and you can tell by the standings, you can tell by the points, you can certainly tell by his scoring. You know, I mentioned it earlier. If he can find a way to maximize his double shooting, if he can get his doubles under control, I think he's going to be a very, very dangerous player in the future.
His double shooting's been great. I mean, he's even hit doubles he doesn't need. Last leg.
And interesting shot there to set himself up with a 22 out.
22's not too bad.
No, it's not. It's not one of the preferred outs, and it kind of goes to my point. He threw his third dart at the triple. He threw his third dart at the triple 19, and hitting it left him a 22. You know, he had 79 left, so it wasn't necessarily the best shot, but he hit the double 11. So what does that tell you? It tells you that, well, he can hit the double.
I'm a fan of double 11. I know logically you slip inside and it's all sorts of trouble, but it's a nice target to aim at. It's, for me at least, it's shoulder height, it's straight, and some people do like it, but yeah, it's not the correct way of going.
Well, if your darts tend to miss up and down, if you for the most part throw your darts on the center line and you miss high or you miss low regularly, then the double 11 is not a terrible out. You know, and that's one of the things we know from watching Rick throw, is most of the time when he misses, he's either missing high or he's missing low. You know, and he's pretty much center of the 20 when he throws.
Well, we get some scoring here. Rick
180. Wow. Gio snuck in there and hit a ton 80 while we weren't looking.
Yeah, so Rick hits a ton, and it looked like he had another good chance of perhaps taking one of Gio's legs, and Gio throws a 180 and says, no, you don't.
And Rick answered with only a 45. If Rick could have put a good score on the board to follow that 180, he might have had a chance, but I think Gio's trying to deliver a message here with that 180.
This game's looking like it might end up a tie, because they're not breaking each other, although, as I said, Rick has been getting closer. I doubt he's going to this leg unless He needs over a ton.
Well, Gio's not doing himself any favors following his ton 80 with a 22. That's a two-round average of just over 100. If Rick hits back-to-back tons, well, there's 200 points, and there's a ton from Rick. So just like that, all of a sudden Rick's right back in it.
Yeah, the ton 80 curse. Is it going to happen? It doesn't happen to players of this standard, does it?
Well, I mean, every time you see a ton 80, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I know it's a curse. I've lived it. I've experienced it. Gio has a ton 80. I think he's experienced the curse. You certainly experienced the curse because I remember you hit one last week.
Let's not talk about that.
It was a beautiful shot.
That was about all I did well that night. And what are you doing, Gio? 2 5s is not what he wanted. That's an understatement.
Now, it's hard to blame that on a ton 80 curse, but he's followed that ton 80 so far with a 22 and a 29, and you can't give someone like Rick Madden those kind of numbers to compete with because he will make you pay. And I think if he puts another ton on the board, we'll see, case in point.
You can't give anyone in that league.
And he's put an 85 on the board, which gets him down to 2 dart out, and Gio is still sitting on a 150. Very doable, but it's a long one.
Is that pressure I see on Gio's face? The rhythm's gone.
The rhythm's gone, but I mean he's still getting the results. I mean he just put a 90 on the board, so he set himself up with a beautiful 60. Rick's got an 88. He's going to need at least one triple. And it looks like he's throwing at the triple 16, hit a 7, so he's got 81 left. I would expect probably a triple 19 here. Yeah, he went to the 17. I would have left him 30. It was a very unusual shot. And then he went back to the 16. That should leave him 48. But Gio's sitting on a 60, and that's almost automatic for him. He just needs a 20 in tops. And there's the 20, and it's a nice marker for the double.
And if he will have got away with this leg. Oh
wow, he didn't get it in there. That first dart was just above the wire, and I think might have blocked him a little bit. Now Rick's on a 48. He really needs to take this out. He doesn't need to give Gio another shot.
This could be for the first break. I think Rick knows it.
And he did it. He hit the double with the second dart, and absolutely he broke Gio to take a 4 legs to 2 lead.
And Rick Madden steps up to the line. He's got the lead, and if he can win this, it'll be a commanding lead.
Well, he broke Gio in the last game, and that's huge because, as we've mentioned before, breaking Gio is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
No, people don't do it often.
Gio, I mean, to stay in this match, Gio definitely needs to break him back. And well, Rick opened with an 83, and Gio answered him with a 41. That's not the way to do it.
Well, there's a lot of darts left to be played. Gio just needs to go break, hold, break, and he's back ahead, and he's more than capable of doing that to anyone.
Well, that's exactly right. I think he needed to take about a 1 minute breather, catch his breath, and get a cigarette, and we see that he's got a cigarette now.
I think sometimes when you go behind, just walking away from the board, clearing your head can do you the world of good.
Absolutely, and unfortunately it didn't help Gio on that shot with just a 22. Rick's putting himself in position to take a commanding lead here, depending on what he throws.
Yeah, Gio's dart's looking plainer than a Bulgarian pin-up model. That's pretty plain.
And Rick's got another 83 on the board. He's right on that triple. He's hit a couple of triple ones, but they're both right there.
That's more like it.
That's the Gio we know and love. Another ton.
Love's a strong word, but yes, that's the Gio we know. And he's brought himself back into it a couple more tons, and
Rick again right on the triples, just a little bit off, but 55. It's going to be okay, not great, but Gio hasn't been putting stellar numbers on the board. He's got an opportunity here to really catch up.
He needs at least a ton, and a ton 40 would have been ideal, but it looks like he got his ton.
Just a 60, unfortunately, but he picked up 5 points on Rick's last shot. I'm sure he will not take much comfort in that.
No, Rick hits a decent number now, and he can pretty much put this one away.
Yeah, he's hit, hard to tell, looks like 43. Looks like he got another triple one.
He's leaving the door open. It's up to Gio to walk through it.
Well, here's Gio with a couple of trip 20s, and I can't see that third dart. Looks like it was just a ton 40.
And
just a ton 40.
You can't do that to Gio. You can't give him that many opportunities. Rick should be on a finish now.
No, he is. He's on a long one, but you're absolutely right. Rick should be looking at a two-darter at the very minimum. And now Gio's got an opportunity to break back. 138's a long out, but Gio's perfectly capable of hitting it.
And I won't say odds are he'll get more darts, but he probably will be back.
Well, he didn't do himself any favors with 41. He really needed maybe a slightly bigger score would have been better. Rick's going to get a shot at a 92. I'm looking for the triple 20 with the first dart. Single leaves him 72. Triple 16, double 12 is one way to do it. Triple 12, double 18 is another common way. And he just went back at the 20.
Might as well stick there. Good choice.
Dangerous shot with that third dart, though, because if it hit the triple 20, he would have busted. If he'd hit the triple 20 with the second dart, he'd have left himself at 12, which is, again, very unconventional out. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Rick throws some strange combinations to leave unusual outs compared to what most of your steel tip shooters like to do with 32s and 40s and so on.
And you're right, the amount. Oh, beautiful dart.
At the end of the day, he left himself 32 and he hit it with the first dart, and that was a beautiful shot.
I don't think he's had more than 4 darts at a double.
I don't think he has. I don't think he's missed more than 4, that's for sure.
This is the one of the signs of the incoming apocalypse, isn't it? Rick Madden hitting doubles first darts. I wouldn't want to be in that Premier League.
Somewhere between raining frogs and fire and brimstone is Rick Madden hitting doubles.
Because he's got the entire game. He could do with his 160 downwards tightening up. But now he's got the doubles in the bag too. He's going to be a handful for everyone.
Oh, there's no doubt. If he stays on this track the rest of this season into the next season, he's definitely going to be a contender. And the match between him and Tom Bunenberg could very well be as epic as this match or the match between Gio and Tom. And it's getting to the point where any of the Premier League matches are epic. These guys are very good.
Gio needs 3 legs in a row to draw level. When's the last time we had to say that?
That's something you don't hear very often, and there's Rick with another ton.
I mean, Tom B did that to Gio last game to come back.
Well, I don't want to jinx Gio too early, because if anybody's capable of doing it, he certainly is. But I would like to remind everybody that he's riding, what did we decide, something like a 12-game winning streak, or a 12-game...
11-game undefeated streak.
That's the word I was looking for, because of the tie. He hasn't been beaten in 11 games. And it's still a bit premature to start popping the cork on the champagne for Rick. But Gio's in a position that I don't think he's been in ever. Down 3 legs,
He needs this game to tie with the all-time record, which Candy Ellis owns, with a 12-game undefeated streak. So Candy might be sitting at home smiling right now, because he's got some work to do to tie her record.
And the ton machine has put another ton on the board. Well, let's not turn our back on another of the women premier shooters. I'm going to give a shout out to Mitch Lutz, because she's currently on a pretty impressive winning streak as well, or a non-losing streak, undefeated streak.
I think she's around 9 or 10.
Not bad, not bad.
And
we still
Tom B.
We still have a couple of weeks left in this season, and then Tom Bunenberg's got his own little streak going.
11 games. So yeah, it's these are things I could only dream of.
The way I've been throwing this season, I'm happy to win one in a row.
I'm always happy to win one in a row. It's better than losing one in a row. And this is a tight leg.
And neither one of them have been shooting overwhelming scores, but they've been level pegging their way back down, and basically that's exactly right. They're just chiseling away at the out, and neither one of them has really taken advantage of the other's misfortunes this game.
Well, Gio's got to pounce right now.
Absolutely. He can't afford to give up another leg. And he hit a ton. That's going to set himself up beautifully for the next game, or for the next shot. Rick's got a 143. It's doable, but it's a long one. I can look for the triple 20 with the first dart. Oh, triple 17 will leave 32. He's got 83 left.
Having a quick check with the scorekeeper, which is a good choice given what happened in leg 3 or whatever it was.
That's exactly right. Double check and make sure of the math.
Well, he can't take it out, but he can put a hell of a lot of pressure on Gio.
Yes, he can. He can. He's got 66 in hand right now, so triple 10 maybe. Hard to say how he's going to throw this one. 66 is such a strange out.
Another dart, the 17 wouldn't be the worst option.
No, but
it's not a great option.
With Gio on and out, you want to go ahead and leave yourself a double.
Well, that isn't what either of us would have done.
I'm not real sure what that dart was going for. If he had hit a triple 20, would have left 6. Interesting shot. And Gio's got a 73 left, and it looks like he's got a triple 7 and double 16. And he got it. 73. He desperately needed that leg. There is no doubt about that.
That ton, which he got by hitting that third dart in the top left corner of that triple, saved him that leg.
Absolutely. And he needed that. Now he needs to break Rick's throw,
which he's not looked like doing all night. Although, that's what he wants to see from a Gio perspective.
Rick's given him an opportunity. He's only open with a 24, and Gio puts anything on the board higher than a ton, and he's going to put himself in a good position.
Happy birthday, Gio. It's not your birthday, but it is.
And he puts a ton on the board. That's huge. If Gio's going to come back, that's the way he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to take advantage of those missed shots by Rick.
If Gio wins this leg, it's going to give him momentum. Rick will have to get his head straight as well, because to see a 3-leg lead disappear into a 1-leg lead will be sad to see. But he's definitely fighting back.
Yeah, it looks like an 85, and yeah, Rick's not going to go down without a fight. He's too good a player. And he's gonna keep working away at it, and he's gonna fix his problems, I'm sure, and get this game. And it's not fair to say that he's having problems. I mean, he threw a 24. It was a pretty 24. It was a triple 1. He just needs to just refocus a little bit, get that dart back in the 20 where it belongs, and that's what he needs to do. Right there, right above the wire, like he likes to throw.
It's a matter of momentum. He very nearly broke Gio again. Gio pulled off a great shot to hold his leg, and then for Rick to go up and throw a 24 and Gio to hit a ton. It's Christmas for Gio.
And unfortunately, his Christmas present is Argyle socks, because at this point, despite Rick having started the game with a 24, he's only 2 points back, on his shot. So Gio took his Christmas present, unfortunately, and didn't really do much with it.
And this is why his nickname needs to be the Ton Machine, because...
Well, in this case, the Ton 40 Machine, because...
That's twice I've said that, and he's
done that. That's a 140.
Stop it, Rick. You're making me look silly. And yeah, all of a sudden, that momentum and that advantage, it looked like Gio was pouncing, has disappeared. And that's what's going to happen when Rick's behind you throwing big darts.
That's exactly right. And another ton on the board puts himself in a real good position. Let's see what he does.
Gio's not throwing badly. He's not throwing his absolute best, but he's probably come to this game not expecting to be rocked like this.
It's fair to say that Gio might have been caught in a little bit off balance with Rick's throwing, but he's certainly not giving up, and he's not going down without a fight.
Is that 2 in the trip?
It looks like it. It looks like the third one was No, it was just a ton. According to the scoreboard, he only hit 100.
At this stage,
But look at the out he set himself up on, a 170.
I'm not sure Gio would want a ton 80 after what happened last time.
That's exactly right. Rick threw at the 19 with his first start. Got one, so I look for him to go back up to the 20s. And he did, and put a 99 on the board. Set himself up beautifully with a 48. We've already seen him hit one.
Oh, with no hesitation as well. It was boom, boom.
That's exactly right. And Gio had a long one at 170, and he put a ton on it. And that's going to put a little bit of pressure on Rick. Gio's in a good position to pounce if Rick misses, but Rick hasn't missed many doubles this game, and
so ice in those veins.
2 darts.
Ice, ice, baby. Fantastic.
16 doubles, 16. That's the way you write them up. And Gio never gets a shot at that out. And now it's up. Rick's up 6 legs to 3. Gio's got the throw. He missed an opportunity to break, and he's going to give Rick an opportunity to break with just a 27 score. Rick hits anything big, and he's going to be in a position to take this leg right out from under Gio.
That's another break. No, it wasn't. Was it? No, he held.
He held.
Sorry, my bad. But I mean, I'm a fan of Rick for reasons like that.
Another ton. Nope. Ton 40.
You're a fan of Rick, and we've both said for a long time when he hits his doubles, the league's in trouble. This could be the start of a new era.
It could very well be. I think he needs to work on his. I want to say he worked on his math skills. I don't think his math skills are really a problem.
It's the short game.
He's absolutely right. He needs to work on his putting game, to put it in golf parlance.
No, he's got his putting. It's his chipping.
Okay.
He's got his driving.
Fair.
He needs to chip it to the green because his putting's been perfect.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
It's just getting that short game, and it's probably too late in the season, maybe for him to win. Assuming he goes on to win this game, which would be a hell of a result. It's probably too late, but next season, he'll be a handful.
Well, barring biblical meltdown by Gio or Tom. Yeah, he's certainly got himself in a position where he can build up some good momentum for next season.
And this sort of result, if he goes ahead to win it, can really boost a player.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's been a long time since Gio lost, and look at this. There it is, 180.
A second,
another ton 80 in this game. In this game from Gio. We saw how well it didn't work last time, so. He might be wishing that was only a 121.
Surely not twice. Surely. He's only 100 points up.
And the ton machine's going to take a shot and hit only a 60. So Gio's in a good position right now. If he puts it, the last ton 80 he followed with a 22. I really hope that he follows this one with something a little bit bigger. I think that's definitely.
Well, he's at least 3 points higher.
Okay, he got a 50. Not terrible. Set himself up on a 144 now. Rick's a long way away. He just needs to put a big score on the board.
Yeah, but Gio's having to do this to hold.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a triple 20, so we know we're going to get something.
Oh, there's a second.
Look at this. He did. He sure did. A 180.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you. Look at the score. 56 left.
Forget the score. Look at Gio's face.
I tell you what, if you want to take the wind out of somebody's sails when they hit a ton 80, go back and hit your own.
It's fantastic, dogs.
That is the first time I think in this league, in the history of this league, that we've seen 2 ton 80s in the same game, in the same leg.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever happened in the same leg before. And all of a sudden.
And just like that, Rick's looking at tops for the leg. Double 10. No, just inside the wire. He's left himself a 10.
I predict that neither player wins the leg because the 180 curse means they throw and miss forever. Oh, Gio. 19. That first dart was really a stray. But did he fix it? It looks like he fixed it.
He looks like he fixed it all the way down to 20. Just inside the wire. Rick's going to get a shot at this 10.
Ton 80 curse.
One of the ton 80 curses is going to bite one of these players, there's no doubt. And the player it bites is Gio again. Unbelievable. But what we were talking about with Rick, I mean, that was only the 3rd or 4th dart he's missed at a double.
Well, it looks like they had another break, which was Probably good for Gio, although at this level they normally pre-arrange the break. So
I'm not sure Rick wanted that break. I think he wanted to keep on going.
And he starts with a ton, surprisingly.
It hasn't hurt him any. Gio really needs to turn it up. He's down 4 legs now, and throwing flyer 16s at the 19 is not going to do it.
I've never seen Gio this far behind, so it'll be interesting to see what he's made of.
What I'm seeing right now, Gio is he looks like he's off balance. He looks like a boxer who's taken a couple of body blows and maybe a hit to the head, and he really looks a little wobbly on his knees right now.
I'm not surprised because he's in with a proverbial heavyweight who's smashing him around the ring.
Yeah, that's true enough. And Gio's got a ton on the board. That's good for him.
So when you've got a 180 on the board, you're down to double digits, and your opponent's that far away, and he hits a 180 and gets an even sweeter finish. What can you do?
Well, like we talked about earlier, all you can do is put it out of your mind, go up and throw your next 3 darts. How do you win 4 in a row? The first step is to win the first one. Then you win the second one. And that's what Gio's facing right now. He's got to figure out how to win 4 in a row, but before he can win 4 in a row, he's got to win 1 in a row.
If anyone can, it's Gio.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about that. He's got the skill, he's got the talent. He needs to find his darts. He needs to find them very quickly. And I'm going to be honest, he needs a little bit of luck. And he's going to need Rick to start missing a little. And he's going to need Rick to start missing the doubles. That's huge.
And he's going to want him to start missing the triple, but he won't. It's not in his DNA. Rick hits those triples.
That's probably the most frustrating thing, whether it be darts or football or any sport, is finding yourself in a position where you have to rely on the other person to underperform in order to allow you to catch back up despite how well you perform.
Let's be honest, Rick has got steam under his shoes.
He's got something under his shoes, there is no doubt about that.
And do you know what I love about him? His face hasn't changed, there's been no emotion. When he messed up that leg, he laughed it off, shook his head, got on with his darts. He's not getting excited. He's not getting snatchy. I mean, even the top players, when they're on a big out or they take the lead, you see they start snatching. They go too high. Their rhythm changes. They get excited. I said earlier, he's ice cold.
Not Rick. He steps up to the line. And watch his throw. He has got one of the most beautiful, one of the nicest throws, of any dart shooter. He just puts his hand up there, he holds the dart, he pulls it back and he throws it. And the darts go into the board at a beautiful angle. I mean, that's textbook darts. That's what you want to see from your dart shooters. Amateurs, take a note.
I'm writing down right now. And Gio looks like he scored 8.
And 1 more makes a 9. Yeah, that's definitely it. I don't want to think that Gio has given up, but I think Gio's frustration level is becoming apparent. I think even he thinks that the writing's on the wall now, and that he's not shooting well enough to come back. I think he's starting to resign himself to the fact that he's in a deep hole and that he may not be able to dig himself out.
When you leave a bogey from 180 with 3 darts, something's gone wrong.
That's exactly right.
And this is the part of the game where we both think Rick can improve on, the chipping.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got 74 right now, so I would expect him to throw at the triple 14 to leave 32. Now, what he throws at is the triple 18 to leave 20. Not a terrible shot, not certainly not the worst thing he could throw at. I would have been disappointed if he had thrown at the 20, for example, or at the 19. But to throw at the 18, at least he's thinking about it. He's being mindful of what he's leaving himself now. And a lot of the shooters will tell you with 74, 54 double 10 is not a terrible out.
Let's see if he can get this. You could count the amount of missed doubles from Rick today on 3 fingers.
That's just about right.
On a Simpson's hand. That's how well he's shooting.
And that takes Rick to 8 legs. He has guaranteed himself at least a tie and 1 point, and that's assuming Gio rattles off 5 wins in a row.
Yeah, failing a heart attack from Rick or
another earthquake from the cameraman. You know.
Yeah, I can't see even a Gio or a Tom B, a Glenn. I can't see any of them rattling 5 legs in a row off against someone shooting this well.
No, in fact, all Rick needs to do is just, hold his throw. He's got 5 legs, of which he'll start 3 of them to hold his throw.
Keep on keeping on. That's all he has to do.
That's exactly right.
And yeah, it looks like he's solved the mystery of his doubles game.
Well, he's certainly not missing them, that's for sure. If he's gotten his mind wrapped around the short game and setting himself up for that double, then Katie bar the door, because he's gonna be awesome. Yeah. Even more awesome than he already is, because like we've talked about, the man can't miss a bullseye or triple 20. I'm sorry.
We're looking at potential best on the beach quality here. Next season, with Rick, with Gio, with Tom B, with hopefully a resurgent Glenn, Tommy Hepburn, Tom McLean. This could be a hell of a league.
Well, don't discount some of the others. Tom McLean's in that conversation. Tracy's in that league. We'll be real interested to see any of the shooters that relegate down are going to be quality shooters. Whoever promotes up from the championship league is going to be a quality shooter. At
the moment, I believe the 3 players looking like coming up would be Joe, who was a Premier League shooter a season ago, and he's a great shot. Aaron Langdon, Shorty, who is also a great shot. We have their game coming up to commentate on. And an outside chance would be Bob Strickland, who we watched against Bing. So any of those added to the mix could be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think Joe in particular has something to prove after getting relegated down. After, he threw very well the first season, he held his position and just took his foot off the gas the second season a little.
Well, Joe is such a cheerful, laid-back, easygoing, whatever kind of guy. Deep down inside, I can't help but to wonder if he wasn't a little hacked at himself for not getting the job done and slipping into the championship league. You got to wonder if he took a little bit of personal offense to that. And he's throwing very well this season. And, maybe there's a reason why. Maybe deep down inside he said, I'm going back where I think I belong.
Well, relegation is the kingmaker. It will break you or it will make you. Everyone in this entire darting community can get relegated, and it's how you bounce back from it. Some people it will weigh on their shoulders and they'll slump, and some people it will light a fire under their bum, give them steam shoes and they'll be away.
Well, Gio definitely needs some steam under his shoes if he's going to do anything, even if it's just to salvage a little bit of pride, maybe get a couple of more wins, just to save face. And he's going to have a shot because Rick's sitting on a 173. He's not going to be able to take it out.
To be fair, Gio's been on the side of a drubbing, and a couple of legs might flatter him a little, but he, that's probably what he's thinking right now. And there's a ton from the ton machine.
And Gio's on a 94. He's going to be throwing at the 18, and there's a single. He threw it to 20. Look for the 16. Yep, left himself 40. Rick's got 73 left, so again, we'll see how his short game is. His first start should be at the triple 19, or at least that would be the logical throw. 57 would leave him at double 8. And let's see where he goes. And he went down there. Good. He hit a single, so he should leave him 54, and he's doing that, checking the scorekeeper. So
18 top, 18.
Either 18-18 or 14 top. And he went for the 14, double tops for the match. Oh, wow, just on the wire. Just above the wire. That was a good look at it, a good dart.
He hasn't missed a double.
And that's only about the 4th double he's missed the entire game.
But of the ones that he didn't want to miss, that was right up there. And Gio's had a lifeline and a gift.
He did, but
But he did the work to get down there, so gift might be a bit harsh.
And Gio's going to be able to start this leg off after breaking Rick, so he's got a little bit of momentum. Nope, take that back. Rick's got this leg.
Gosh darn that scorekeeper.
And apparently he's had not enough beer or too much.
It's a very delicate balance keeping your ABV just right.
And Rick is opened up with just a 60. He's throwing for the match, so Gio's really going to have to break him. Again, just to save face, Gio needs to break him and just to make the score look a little better.
I don't think Gio's broke him all night.
I don't think he has.
And
but he answered with a ton. So.
More importantly, I don't think he's coming close. So Rick needs to start hitting the numbers here. A ton would be ideal. Every time I say that, he hits a ton 40.
No, not this time. I can assure you this time it won't be a ton 40. Look, it's a ton.
Well, colour me surprised.
There was a break in between where the scorekeeper had to go get another box of pens, I'm sure. And then Gio comes back with a 60, so let's play a game of 341.
Level peggings here.
We could have started ourselves here and saved ourselves a lot of time.
Well, not too much. They only had 6 starts to pop.
two shots each, almost 30 seconds.
It's a good save.
Not bad third dart.
He's had a habit of doing that tonight.
Yeah, he's done it several times, and Gio's going to answer.
And is he going to answer big?
Well, just a ton. That's bigger than an 85, but I think Gio's afraid to throw a ton 80 anymore. I don't think he wants any more ton 80s. He's hit 2 tonight, which is good by any measure, and he lost both legs. I'd be ecstatic hitting 2 ton 80s in a night, and I'd be willing to lose them just to be able to say I hit 2 ton 80s one night.
I remember that when we play next season, and there's a ton 21 from Rick, which puts him back in commanding position.
Absolutely, and Gio needs to put a big score on the board just to put the pressure on Rick. And he puts a ton. That's going to help.
And again, this board's going to have to get rotated.
And no doubt. Now let's see what Rick does with his 135. He might throw at the bullseye with his first dart. A couple of the Premier League players like to do that. And he didn't. He just threw a triple 20, so he's got 75 left.
Is he going to go green bit, red bit here?
I would be surprised if he did.
As a plastic player.
As a plastic player, understand a plastic tip player can't go bull double bull for 75 because you can't hit a single bull.
Good point. Although they do split bull in cricket.
He went interesting shot. He went to the triple 19 with 75 left, and that's what I was talking about. That short game. That was an odd shot.
What would that have left him?
If he had hit the triple 19 with 75. You're asking me to do really high amount. We're left in 28. Very strange out.
As it is, he's fixed it.
He has fixed it.
And he has had that in his...
and maybe he meant to do that. I mean, maybe he likes double 14.
The way he's throwing doubles tonight, I don't think he minds what he is.
Well, he's going to have 3 darts at a 40, double 20, and he hasn't missed many, so for the match, what can he do?
Let's just come inside.
Just come inside again. He's got 10 left now.
I'll be very careful here. Very careful.
And he threw it a little bit high, maybe on purpose. Maybe went right at it and just got a little bit of bad luck. But he's sitting on 10. Gio needs a 91. No doubt this will be the triple 17.
I think his cool is cracking a little. I think.
Yeah, given how far off that first start was, he's got 89 left now. That was nowhere close. And that was closer, but unfortunately doesn't leave him an out.
It'll be interesting to see if Rick splits his 10 or if he just throws at it.
If I know Rick, well, Gio hit a triple with that last dart to leave an 8. If I know Rick, he might just go right at double 5 just because I think he feels like he can hit any double and he's got good experience throwing all the doubles.
Yeah, the only time he's really missed these doubles is going for the match-winning dart. Speaking of which...
Right there in the middle of the double 5. No hesitation, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And what a game that was. Wow, the quality was apparent for all to see.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It really felt like Rick and Gio hit about 50 tons each. But the tail of the tape is actually surprising. Rick, for that entire game, had only 14 tons and 2-ton 40s plus the 1-ton 80.
And Gio had 19, so Gio actually hit more tons, 2 140s and 2 180s.
I bet he'd give those 2 180s back for 2 wins, because those were painful games for him to hit the ton 80s and still lose.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel, while I was watching, and I'm sure you feel the same, that I felt he was the biggest scorer of that game.
It certainly felt like he hit more than 14 tons. But, to be fair, he did hit a lot of 85s. He did hit a lot of 95s. He hit a couple of 99s. So he was still scoring a prolific number of points. They weren't showing up on the score sheet because they weren't always tons.
And 14 and 19 tons in a game, for the Premier League, that's still quite high. But it's not mind-blowingly high. But one of the reasons for that is it was over so quickly.
Well, yeah, there was only 13 games played, and if you look at Rick's stand, 14 tons in 13 games is still averaging 1 per game.
On reflection, Rick had the chance to make it 9-3, and it probably should have been 9-3.
Absolutely.
I mean, at no point did Gio look like he was capable of or going to break Rick.
Yeah, Gio definitely looked like he was having an off night, and I'm sure that he's going to be the last person in the world to offer an excuse other than the fact that Rick just outthrew him. And let's face it, Rick threw fantastic darts, and his short game was the doubles were, they were there. They were gold for him tonight.
Yeah, he was up until the leg winning opportunities, he just couldn't miss a double.
Rick threw fantastic darts. Even if Gio was 100% on his game, I still think Rick would have beat him, and I think Rick would have beat him handily. Rick was throwing that well.
Well, we're saying Gio had an off night. In 13 legs, he had 19 tons, 2-ton 40s and 2 180s. If that's an off night, wow.
That's 17 more tons than I hit all last season.
This game's going to have a ripple effect in the Premier League, because Gio and Tom were level peggings on points, and this has really opened the door for Tom to win the league.
It has, and it's opened the door for Rick to sneak up in there and insert himself in the conversation, depending on how the rest of the season goes. I'm not ready to hand the trophy to Gio yet because he lost. I'm not ready to hand the trophy to Tom yet because we still got several weeks left to play. Rick has demonstrated that he deserves to be in the conversation. It's going to be real interesting to watch what happens these next couple of weeks to see how they finish.
Well, I'll be looking forward to watching those games with you.
Absolutely. I can't wait to do it. All right. Take care, Richard. Bye-bye.